Welcome. In this video, we're going to look at how to create a static website with Amazon S3. In order to do this, from the AWS console, we go to S3 and simply click Create Bucket. So we have to give our bucket a name. It's going to be my static S3 website. And choose a region, which we'll leave as the default. There's an option here for blocking all access. Now, we're going to actually have to change this later on, and you could do it during the creation of the bucket. But just so you know how to do it for an existing bucket, we will edit this later on in the process. We're going to leave everything else at default, which includes bucket versioning, encryption is disabled, and we won't be adding any tags. We just click Create Bucket, and this bucket name already exists, so we'll just call it My Static Website S3 Website 2000. Click Create Bucket. And then from within the list of S3 buckets, we click on the one we've just created, which is My Static S3 Website 2000, and this is our bucket. So currently we have no files. So first thing we want to do is actually upload a few files. So we click Upload and then Add Files, and then we have 3 files here: a picture of an apple, a winter scene, an index. So we click Open, and then we click Upload. Right, okay, so the files are uploaded, and we click Close. So now, as it stands, we can't actually view these files. We actually have to allow this to be viewed as a website. So under Properties, we're going to go down to the bottom and click on Static Website Hosting Edit. Click Enable, and you have 2 options here. One is to host a static website, and the other is redirect requests for an object. So you can redirect to another bucket or domain. We'll leave that option and look at that perhaps in another video. So we just want to select host a static website. We get given 2 options. We need to specify the index document for the site. So we'll just index.html, which is the file we uploaded, and an error document. Now, we don't have an error document right now. So what we'll do, we'll just leave that blank. Click Save Changes. The error document was optional. Right, okay, so now that's done, we can go to the bottom of the page and back to the static website hosting. And as you can see, we're given the URL of the website, which is essentially our bucket name, and then .s3 website AP Southeast 2, AP's Asia Pacific in this case. So we'll just click on that and we'll open it, and we get a 403 forbidden. So we need to remedy that. So we're going to have to go back up to the top of the page and click on Permissions. And this is the option you saw when we created the bucket. We want to allow public access. So we click Edit on the block of public access and unselect the block all public access. And we will be asked to confirm this. Now, this is obviously dangerous typically because you don't normally want your S3 bucket to be publicly accessible, but in this case we do. That's done. So if we go back to this page here, and if we were to refresh the page, it still doesn't work. So there are some other options. Now, there are a few ways of addressing this. Now, you can, for example, let's try load the Apple file. So /Apple forbidden. Right. So we can actually go and click on Apple and manually modify the permissions for this. So click on Permissions, and then we can go Edit, and then we can give everyone read access to this. And then you do have a warning that when you grant access to the everyone or authenticated users group, anyone in the world can access the object. And you click I understand that and save changes. So now, if we refresh this page, we should be able to see apple.jpg. There we go. Sorry, just took a moment for the permissions to take effect. So now Apple is viewable. So if we click on, but if we want to try another document, like say winter.jpg, that's not going to be viewable. So it's not necessarily ideal that we want to modify the permissions on a per file or per object basis. So there is another option, and that is we can go back to permissions again. And instead of modifying the permissions of individual files, we create a bucket policy. So if you can find this easily, an example of the policy or the policy that you'd need, if you look at static S3 website, and first result after the advert is going to be hosting a static website using Amazon S3, uh, which is the official Amazon documentation. Now the important thing here, it will give you the options, enable website hosting, we've done that, having an index in the error document, but what you want is setting permissions for website access. So if you go down on this one, it'll give you the options we've already done, which was to untick the block all public access option. Now, what you want is this one, there's a bucket policy. So this bucket policy, basically, we just have, what it's allowing is that we can allow basically everyone to do an S3 get object action. And they can do it on the resource specified here, and this is where we will have to enter our ARN, their resource name for the S3 bucket. So we'll just copy this, go here, and we'll click edit on the bucket policy and paste. Now we need the ARN. So before we save the policy, we can grab that by clicking properties on the S3 bucket. And there's the ARN here, you just click to copy that. Now that we add in the resource, so the resource /star, and then we click Save Changes. So this is allowing anyone effectively to get a file from our website or get an object from the S3 bucket. Now we've done that, and before we continue, note that you do have a publicly accessible indicator at the top here, showing you that your S3 site is publicly accessible. Go to Apple. Now we wanted to go over the winter file before, it wouldn't let us, and now that loads. And if you also want to just not put anything, you load the index.html page, and that's pretty much it. So cleanup time. Look, before we do the cleanup, you can use a static website such as this to host a simple site, but it may not necessarily be ideal for a fully functional website, but it's good enough for a placeholder site. What you're probably going to want to do though is actually remove this bucket. So in order to do that, at the end, the cleanup was we just click on my static site, and we can't delete it until it's empty. So if I click delete, sorry, that's the wrong bucket. Click on delete and enter the name of the bucket. It says bucket not empty, so you can't delete it. Please. So as I said, the bucket actually has to be empty. So we click here, we click empty, and permanent delete. Click empty. Now we've emptied the bucket. And to confirm that that's been done, and then you can actually just click delete to delete the bucket. And there's also the public access indication on this list for the website. So click that. Click enter the name of the bucket. My static S3 website 2000. Click delete bucket, and that's done. Now the website is gone. And you shouldn't be able to refresh that. Not found. Right. Okay. Well, thank you for watching the video. I hope this has been informative, and I hope to bring you some additional videos soon. Thank you.